Roughly 3 years ago, the DuPage County Board, through its chairman, announced that the DuPage County Board voted to support Mayor Daley's plan for the expansion of O'Hare International Airport. There, thank you. He deserves the applause, because that, at that time and today, was a very courageous act. Our guest today has been active and highly successful in DuPage County politics for 2 decades. The native son of DuPage, long the bastion of Republican power in our state, now stands shoulder to shoulder with his party's biggest names. Our guest today has some very impressive credentials. He has secured a AAA bond rating for DuPage County. At the same time, he has lowered property taxes, and he has worked with state and federal officials to bring more than $80 million in various improvement projects to DuPage County. Our guest today is a graduate of Naperville Community High School. He earned his bachelor's degree at Illinois College in Jacksonville and graduated Phi Beta Kappa. Our guest today earned his law degree at Kent College of Law, Illinois Institute of Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the City Club of Chicago, the chairman of the DuPage County Board of Commissioners, Bob Schillerstrom. Bob? All right, have some fun with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Jay. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. And Jay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And thank all of you for coming today. 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to speak to the City Club about DuPage County's support of the O'Hare Modernization Program, the critical need for Western access to the airport, and the substantial economic benefits that these infrastructure projects will provide to DuPage County and the entire Chicagoland region. We support the modernization of O'Hare and the transportation improvements it will allow for because of the unprecedented opportunities it offers for congestion relief and for economic development. 3 years ago, I promised I would work to make sure that the opportunities promised by this major public works project would become opportunities realized. This opportunity analysis we bring to you today is the first stage in realizing the promise of O'Hare modernization. The O'Hare Modernization Program is the largest infrastructure project of our generation. A project of this magnitude required a novel approach to planning that could look at all of the opportunities in a holistic manner. To that end, we have undertaken a comprehensive opportunity analysis to develop options for roadways, public transit, land use possibilities, and economic development. Key to this process and to the ultimate success of any regional project is the cooperation and participation of all of the stakeholders. We engage leaders from all the surrounding communities to develop strategies and to develop a mission that will allow us to move forward. All voices were heard in this process, and what you see today is the result of unprecedented, proactive regional cooperation. We embrace this regional approach because we acknowledge the dependency of our county, our municipalities, and the city of Chicago on each other. If we prosper as a region. If we fail to fulfill this vision, we fail as a region. We began by looking at the area as it is today, analyzing the economic impact, and then working together to begin envisioning the exciting changes that could take place. Land use is a local issue, and the municipalities had to be at the table. I am proud to say that 15 communities, including Bensonville, participated in this year-long process. IDOT, the Tollway, the City of Chicago, and all the transit agencies worked together with the county so that we could coordinate roadway, transit, and redevelopment planning. Our success depends on the development of a regional agenda that all stakeholders can support. This process found great common ground among these stakeholders, and Western Access was seen as the cornerstone for future economic opportunities. Communities wanted roadway options that included opportunities to gateway and market their towns, and that allowed them to retain and enhance as much existing business as possible. And the ability to attract new business and high-quality, sustainable employment for the region's citizens was paramount. Western access to the airport, completing the Elgin O'Hare Expressway into the western terminal down Thorndale, is only part of our transportation solution. The airport modernization gives us a unique opportunity to have a vastly improved transportation network for the region, increased convenience for the traveling public, and tremendous economic benefits for the entire region. To truly relieve traffic congestion and revitalize this entire area, we needed a north-south bypass around the airport that would connect to 294 to the south and I-90 on the north. But it was very important that this new roadway have minimal displacement of residents and businesses. Older studies suggested placing the roadway along York Road, which would have increased the displacement of homes and businesses. This was simply not acceptable. Thanks to a historic intergovernmental agreement between the City of Chicago and DuPage County, this bypass will largely be built along a 300-foot corridor on airport property. Let's take a look at Thorndale Road as it is today. Now let's take a look at an expanded Thorndale, a true western access to the airport. This concept shows a 400-foot corridor with frontage roads, 3 high-speed lanes in either direction, and substantial green space. This concept, which the study believes would be highly effective, would also result in minimal displacement. Let's go back to the other slide. Very little displacement. Much of the land needed for western access is already protected in public ownership. And as you can see, there are huge improvements in traffic flow and incredible opportunities for development and redevelopment. But as I said, this process was about more than just an entryway to the airport. This artist's conception shows a proposed transit hub that includes transit utilizing the roadway median with pedestrian access. There are opportunities for mixed-use developments, including office, retail, and industrial. It was important to us that we incorporate transit into the planning at this stage and not try to retrofit transit options into the plan years from now. I firmly believe that in order to relieve traffic congestion, we must make a commitment to expanded and market-based public transit. This plan addresses that critical need. The possibilities are limited only by our imagination and our will. Theaters, convention centers, conference centers, hotels, concert venues, restaurants, light manufacturing, assembly plants, warehouses, new business centers, and corporate office parks all could be included in this vision. There is a potential for freight cargo entrance on the west side of the airport for additional cargo, freight forwarding, custom broker facilities, and possible foreign trade zones. We envision state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly manufacturing facilities utilizing the newest in technological advances. And our transit component will give us the ability to truly move workers to where the jobs are and allow for additional development along the public transit corridors that are to be created. This study envisions a transportation hub west of the airport in Bensonville that could connect the extension of the Blue Line with the Star Line, bringing a Metro line down Thorndale Avenue. It also includes bus rapid transit along either York Road or Route 83, park and ride facilities, remote parking, mixed-use developments, and a gateway concept for local municipalities. But if we are to realize all of the opportunities available, we needed a recipe for development and redevelopment as capital projects were taking place. The overarching strategy of this study was to incorporate all of the elements of a successful plan in the visioning stage. This slide shows all the different zones the Planning Committee identified as having high potential for development and redevelopment. One of the criteria for determining future land use was the building height restrictions based on runway configuration and FAA regulations. Let's take a brief look at one of the zones that we studied. Here you can see the retail and corporate opportunities along Thorndale. This concept also includes substantial green space and increased stormwater storage capacity. The red areas denote retail opportunities, the gold corporate and office developments, and purple shows areas for potential industrial redevelopment. There was also ample consideration given to the inclusion of green space. Here we can see even more robust development, including the transit hub on the east and more pedestrian access to business parks and retail developments. We started this process to fulfill the promise of jobs and economic growth. So we look closely at the economic impacts of our proposed vision. The factors that will impact this dramatic growth include the western terminal operations, the roadway improvements, including the bypass, western access, and the grade separation at York and Irving Park roads, increased visitor spending in DuPage County, parking and concession sales at the western terminal, and land acquisition for the expansion. Additionally, benefits to the region include substantial reductions in flight delays and increased origin-destination flights. Due to this project, it is projected that by 2015, visitor spending will increase by $134 million per year and increase by $310 million by the year 2030. Jobs created in the new western terminal alone should be 10,500 by 2015 and 12,700 by 2030. DuPage County is larger than 7 states, but our economy is larger than 15 states. By 2015, it is projected to be larger than 17 states, due in part to the positive economic benefits of O'Hare modernization and its significant transportation improvements. Because of O'Hare modernization and the transportation improvements, overall employment in the region should increase by 21,000 by 2015 and more than double by 2030. The economic impact will be $3.6 billion by 2015 and $10.1 billion by 2030. This is only the beginning. We have created a shared vision, but we need to make it a reality. This is not a study that I will allow to sit on the shelf. This project is a living, breathing project that can improve the quality of life for our region for generations to come. And we cannot delay in moving on to the next phase. To continue this organized, cohesive effort, an implementation team will be announced within the next month. The implementation team must include substantial representation from the private sector, all levels of government, IDOT, the tollway, the RTA, METRA, PACE, and most importantly, the municipalities this so directly impacts. As we look at all of the opportunities and the obstacles, we must also look closely at the funding available to make this vision a reality. The implementation team will review all funding options. Western Access has already been designated as a national priority, and we believe that we will continue to get substantial federal funding in the next transportation bill. We have commitments from the state as well as local governments, and we are open to studying public-private partnerships for these major roadway improvements. They say that to accomplish great things, we must dream as well as act. This opportunity analysis showcases the possible and defines our vision, but now it is time to act. The transportation improvements initiated by the expansion of O'Hare Airport will maintain our region's reputation as the transportation crossroads of North America. If we are to be prepared for the future, effectively create jobs, maintain our transportation preeminence, and protect our quality of life, we must decrease congestion on our roadways. We must also create transportation corridors that support increased economic development. and we must incorporate public transit into our planning from the beginning. All of the stakeholders have come together to envision more than just new jobs and new businesses. We envision increased industrial and commercial opportunities that create new communities, new schools, new opportunities, and the long-term sustainable employment that results in a high quality of life for all of our citizens. All of the stakeholders must now come together to implement this shared vision. The possibilities are endless. I made a promise to see these opportunities realized, and I intend to keep that promise. I look forward to being able to address you again and outline our progress on these exciting opportunities. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come before you today.
On behalf of the City Club of Chicago, we have a mug for you, which will, how do you say this? This will get through any ethics ordinance that any of these politicians out here want to pass from the City Club of Chicago, Mr. Chairman, and a history of the City Club of Chicago. No further questions? Meeting adjourned. Give them a round of applause. Thank you very much.